it's my theory that if Don King was born rich and white, he'd be Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump was born poor and black, he'd be Don King.
The retired HBO godfather, Larry Merch, of course, talking about the wire-haired wonder and the former president, number 45 himself. Straight up, you are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing and MMA. We go back to our Sunday shot caller. Of course, he was with us in hour number one. We bring him back in hour number two. Tommy D, we've got the heavyweight championship coming up to an extent next week, next Saturday, but it's the heavyweight championship with an asterisk next to it because isn't Tyson Fury the linear world heavyweight champion?
That's correct. Tyson Fury is the lineal world champion, but Mr. Fury doesn't want to fight Usyk. Usyk has been calling for the fight, and Usyk, and Tyson Fury decided to take on Ngannou instead.
Didn't Usyk give up two of his kids?
As far as I know, I'm not too sure about that.
No, I'm serious. No, so I mean, Usyk. I was of the impression Usyk they said like 20%, 20, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
He kept saying okay, and they kept saying, Usyk doesn't want to do the fight. In fact, I think the WBC jumped in and said that Usyk doesn't want to do the fight. I mean, Usyk's going to make more money in that fight than he ever does in his entire life. So why not have that fight? Plus, little guys give Tyson Fury trouble, according to Kenny Rainford, Sir Kenneth Rainford, my ace over there in the UK.
Yeah. Remember the fight with Tyson Fury had with Cunningham? Cunningham was a smaller guy from a smaller division. And, yeah, although Fury ended up stopping him, but Cunningham knocked him down. And he looked, he hurt Fury.
Okay.
So he does have trouble with smaller guys. Otto Wallin was another guy he had trouble with. 36
years old is Usyk, of course, unbeaten, former cruiserweight champion out of the Ukraine. Of course, 25-year-old is Dubois, of course, coming to us out of the UK. What's the difference between these two guys here? One's a heavyweight and one's maybe junior heavyweight?
Junior heavyweight from the cruiserweight division. Dubois has been a heavyweight pretty much his whole career. He's a big puncher, although he doesn't really move as much. He's not as a big mover like the cat in Usyk. Usyk can box and he can hit you from different angles. I expect him to give him trouble. Dubois' last fight, he didn't look good at all. Although he stopped the guy, he was knocked down 3 times in the first round.
Just from personal experience, if you give me an advantage over a guy, a size advantage over a guy, I'm going to kick the snot out of him usually. Even if I'm of lesser talent, eventually my strength and my will is going to be able to impose that upon him. You feel where I'm coming on that?
Yeah, I totally get that. Okay. And Dubois said this.
I understand that. And why can't guys do that? I mean, if I was Tyson Fury, I would be pushing that little guy all over the ring. I mean, get off me, pop. Get off me, pop. I mean, it seems like an easy fight.
It should be. It absolutely should be. And that's why I don't understand why, Fury wouldn't, want to make that fight.
Well, Fury's going to catch hell, I think, with with Francis Ngannou. Ngannou can punch. If Ngannou hits him, he's going to wake up. And, of course, maybe on his back. I'm not sure if it'll be on his back. But the bottom line is Ngannou throws short shots. He's not one of those guys like Deontay Wilder that throws those long right hands. In other words, his punches only got to travel 10 inches.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
Plus, Mike Tyson's taking care of him.
Tyson is taking care of him. You're real confident about this fight, are you?
Well,
I just don't see it, honestly. I really don't. I don't think Fury's going to have any trouble with this guy.
See, here's what's up. If Fury has problems with these little guys, he's scared of these little guys. I think this big guy's I think he's finally met his match. If Ngannou hits him on the chin, squarely and early, I think he'll go.
Yeah, I can see that. But he's got to land. He's got to make the best of whatever shot he can land.
Okay,
I expect Fury to be coming in box.
All right, let's go back and talk about something we talked about just a little bit in hour number one. Terrence Crawford's willing to commit to greatness. He wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, 168 pounds. We ran a tape of course, him talking about that earlier, and Canelo saying he's too small, this and that. Is that would that be a realistic fight?
I think it's realistic. Whether or not they both actually mean it and would make the fight is a different story. I think Bud would really be up for it and challenge and take on greatness.
I saw a picture of Canelo and it looks like he was a Weight Watchers still.
Yeah, he did look like he needed to lose a lot of weight.
You see, and here's what's up. He's got to lose all this weight in a month too, and he'll be in great shape. Socrates Palmer, boxing PhD, expects him to be in the best shape since the Caleb Plant fight. Maybe, but man, when you're that fat, I take that back. When you're that heavy and you're taking off weight, listen. Roberto Duran went to camp twice. Went to camp a lot of times, but 2 times in particular. The second Ray Leonard camp and the Thomas Hearns camp. He went to camp over 200 pounds, had to come down 50 pounds, and he got drilled both times.
Yeah. Well, the second fight with Leonard, there was a lot of politics in that one. And Leonard, he wanted to fight right away. Duran was celebrating and happy, partying.
But
and they rushed him back into
I know. But what Mike Trainer did was Mike Trainer with Sugar Ray Leonard's brains. He sent a spy down to Panama. He saw Roberto Duran playing the timbales and the congos with this big beer belly. He had this big beer belly. I saw a picture. The picture. Duran's got this big, huge gut. Okay, so Mike Trader says, okay, I'm going to offer him 10 times more than he's ever made in his life. So instead of making 1.5 million, he goes, I'll give you $8 million. You got to take the fight November 25th. Duran said, I'll cut off an arm to make that kind of money.
Yeah, do you blame him?
Yeah, I do, because the bottom line is he was on top at that point in time. He was the champion. He should have been calling shots. I mean, he let Leonard out negotiate him in that fight. The size of the ring was 24-foot square ring. That's like a backyard.
And that's why I mentioned the politics. He gave Leonard all the, he basically made Leonard the A side, and Leonard made all the decisions. And smaller ring, a bigger ring, so this way, Leonard could run and move around.
Man, I will say that though, the first fight though, that was a man-making fight. The shots that Duran hit him with, especially starting in the second round, left hooks, straight right hands. I'll never forget what Marvin Hagler told me. Marvin Hagler never Marvin Hagler never complimented anybody around me. Anybody, nobody. I mean, but you know what he said? He said, Duran, you got a good sneaky right hand, because Duran busted him up in that fight.
Yeah, he did. And if you saw his face, if you saw Leonard's facial expressions, that told the story too.
Yeah, yeah.
But to Leonard's credit, he came on later on in that fight.
But Ray Leonard was the consummate. How can I put this? He knew when to pick guys. You know what I'm saying? In other words, he waited until March. He waited like 2.5 years after Duran came so close to beating him. In fact, Duran was ahead, believe it or not, after 12 rounds in that fight with Marvin Hagler in 1884. Of course, it would be 2.5 years before Ray Leonard would fight him in April of 1987. But by that point in time, he had fought, I think, Mugabe and Hearns. So, Marvin was done.
Yeah.
I think Hagler said after the Mugabe fight, they were taking all his gloves. He said something like, am I done? Am I done? Something like that. He was questioning himself then.
Wow. I did not know that.
Good guy to be around, though, in the gym. Set the perfect example, man. He did nothing but work. He did nothing. One time he hit the sparring partner so hard in Johnny Taco's gym with a right hook to the body, I thought the guy was going to die. He lay there for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, they basically could have carted him out, but they didn't. Marvin had respect, and Marvin stood there and was patient, this and that. But they waited until they slid that guy underneath the ropes and brought another sparring partner in. Marvin didn't play, bro. Just like you don't play.
I don't play. But let me ask you a question. Now we bring on these guys back then, those 4 guys that they talk about: Hearns, Leonard, Duran, and Hagler. What do you think of Benitez as being like the 5th guy in that? Like, he fought 3 of those guys.
How can you say that when I sparred with him and I did very well?
You did very well against him?
Did very well against him, and that was in 1984. I was preparing for the Western Olympic trials. He was here in San Francisco, and I lit him up in the second round. We had 2 rounds. I lit him up in the second round.
I
laid him up like a White House. Laid him up like a White House Christmas tree. He never got out the corner. And I'm not talking Mustafa Hamsho side with powerful shots. I just mean pop, 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 moving around, pop, pop, pop. I just kept it up, and he stayed there in the corner. So my trainer said I was scared of him in the first round, and they said you're embarrassing everybody here in the gym. I'm going to leave, pull some Teddy out, this type of crap on me. So I went out there and went to work in the second round, and that was the last time we saw Benitez.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
He left town a week later. Yeah. Tommy D, I'm running up on a hard break. We'll see you next Sunday.
You got it, bro. Thank you.
Tommy D, folks. That's right. He is the shot caller on Sunday for Ring Talk Live Worldwide and WBC TV.